Welcome back to 23 Minute Reads with me, Maya D. This is kind of like my virtual book club because in these 5 minute or so videos, I share with you my takeaways from my current reading. Right now, that is Undergraduate Research in Dance. As a part of my 23 to 23 challenge, I'm reading 23 minutes per day, every day, as an action of self love, as an investment into myself, and as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever changing world. Hoping that you will join me along in this journey by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping some comments down there in that comment section so that there's an actual dialogue going on. Having in mind that while I have several decades of experience as an educator, as a dancer, and as a curriculum writer, I'm not the know-all-be-all for this book. I'm simply providing a space for dialogue. Well, this week I read pages 25 through 49, and here are my takeaways. Let me get my notes. Takeaway number one is reflection. I feel like I didn't read a lot of pages in the book this week, and honestly, that's because I found myself in thought several times throughout the week, thinking about my experience as a student and thinking about the types of experiences I want my students to have. During my experience as a student, I received 2 undergraduate research awards, and I found myself reflecting and thinking about how much I might have accomplished if I had this book as a guide during that time. And thinking or remembering that in no way, shape, form, or fashion can a book replace individual guidance from an actual person. At the same time, this book does provide some guidance that I feel like I would have benefited from during my undergraduate studies, and that I feel my students can benefit from right now. So with good intentions of as a result of that reflection, I've suggested it to my students that this book is something that I encourage them to get right now, even though in the book it says that it's a good idea to get this book maybe around your first year of studies and use it all the way through your capstones. I encourage my students right now, my undergraduate BFAs, meaning Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and my Bachelor's of Arts students, to go ahead and get it because it's worth it. It would be beneficial to them right now and in the future. Takeaway number two is good intentions. So some of us might be familiar with the saying, the roll to HE double hockey stick, go ahead and spell that out for yourself, is paid with good intentions. And I take that saying to mean that someone might have good intentions, a good idea, but as they're going through their process, they could possibly hurt other people, do some not so nice things, and have some harmful actions. And if we were to relate it to dance and dance research, at times the actions of dance researchers could negatively affect those around them. So there's a section in the book called Human Subjects versus Human Participants. And in this section, they reference some of the work that was done during the AIDS epidemic and how vulnerable the communities that they were doing their research on were, like how vulnerable they were. And one of the things that came out of that time was this informed consent. So informed consent is the process by which a competent person agrees or refuses. That's important. A competent person agrees or refuses a procedure, an intervention, or research. This information was taken once again from that human subjects versus participants section, which is actually a part of chapter 4 of the book. And it also explains things like the role of the IRB, which is an acronym that stands for Institutional Review Board. So thinking about that, if your work is aligned with an institution, you want to make sure that you consult them. And also the CITI, which is an acronym for Collaborative Institutional Training Institute. All of these are important things to help you make sure that your good intentions also have good behaviors. Takeaway number 3 is origins. Here's a quote from the book. The point of research is the analysis and interpretation of what the data signifies. This quote is a reminder that after you collect the data, you still need to do something with that data. So let's say, let's take my research right now. I want to create a tool for a specific dance population. And I want to make sure that I go to my institute and align with the IRB so that my good intentions have those good behaviors, right? And that's in part because I'm collecting data via interviews and surveys. After I've collected that data, I still need to analyze and synthesize that data. So the book reminds us that understanding the origins of words might help us to understand the thing that you're doing. So the word analysis has Latin origins and means to break down into smaller chunks, while the word synthesis means putting it back together. So after I've done my interviews and I'm sitting down to review those interviews, my analysis might look like finding things that are in those interviews, and then I can get into the synthesis of it. Well, that was all three. Thank you for staying to the end. Remember to like, remember to comment, and remember to share, because I want to have a healthy, size, diverse, inclusive book club. So make sure that you're sharing this. Could you please share it? And maybe we could get up to 500 followers by the end of the year. So spread the word of this, spread a good word, and stay blessed. I'll see you again next week.